Great seeing you for Devos here today. And we're looking at the last devotion on the way up is down. We're talking about servanthood. We're talking about humility. We're talking about getting rid of pride. We're talking about one day standing before the throne of God and Him rewarding you. Great rewards for all eternity. Thank God we get into heaven by His grace and His mercy. But you want to be blessed of God, but you won't be blessed unless you're first humbled. So let me ask you a question here today. Do you look down on anyone? Ask yourself that. Do you look down on anyone? Look with me. Let's go to Philippians chapter 2, verse 3. He says, do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Yeah, when you look at somebody and you think, wow, they're the nicest person I know. They fulfill everything. I'm talking about in the world. So let's get out of the church. And let's just say you applied these principles as a non-believer in a non-believing world. Oh, they would love you. They would think you were the greatest person who ever lived because they don't know anyone like you. So what we're talking about is really odd when it comes to the world. But notice here, we're not to be doing things just for ourselves. We're to put others before ourselves. I hear this all the time. We'll have some cheater. They're cheating on their spouse. Somebody say, they're tired of being married. You got married when you were 21 years old, and now you're 32, and you're missing out on life. And you never really got to date. Okay, I hear this all the time. And so I'll get some lady, some mom, some dad, husband, wife, and they'll say, well, I'm going to do this because, you probably could say this with me, God wants me to be happy. Who told you that? Hey, listen, yeah, He wants you to be happy, but you're going to be happy doing it the way you're doing it. In fact, you're going to be really sad. And in time, you're going to be sorry for what you did. So what I want you to do, I want you to humble yourself and stop thinking about yourself and putting others before yourself. We don't want to live lives where we're just trying to impress people. We want to think that, we're really smart. Or we want them to think we're real successful. Or we want to impress them with our brand new car. Listen, there's nothing wrong with the new car, but you don't want to buy it for that reason. Now, I would like you to go with me down to 2 Corinthians 12:9. Now, I talked about what happened to Paul. Now, the other day I mentioned that Paul died. He went to heaven. He saw unbelievable things. He was sent back to the earth. Now, let's look at this. He said in this 2 Corinthians 12:9, but he said to me, God, because he went to God, he had this thorn in the flesh, he had some sort of illness, some sort of problem. And God said, no, I'm not taking it away. He said, my grace will be sufficient for you. For my power is made perfect in weakness. So if you feel real weak, you feel bad about yourself, you're the guy or lady God can use. He says, therefore, Paul says, I'm not going to boast all the more gladly of my weakness. I'm going to boast about my weakness, not about how smart I am, not about how famous I am in a Christian world he was. He said, though that the power of Christ may rest upon me. So God says, Paul, I'm not going to take that thorn out because you got this big bubble of pride, and I'm going to pop your bubble. I'm not giving you those holy tweezers to pull them out. He says, because you need this, because I can't use you the way you are. Now, when we're humbled and we're turning to God and we're making peace with Him about our thorns in the flesh, God in your weakness can empower you and use you in a great way. People just like to brag about themselves. Now, I have some people I'm related to, and they have PhDs. I have children like that. But listen, for some people, they get a PhD, and it's kind of worthless. I met this guy, him and his wife. They live above a garage, and they don't work, and both of them have PhDs. They're in their 40s. They're like professional students. Oh, they're so proud of this. And I told them one day, I said, a PhD for some people is like a little curly tail on a pig. It serves no purpose except to tickle the ham it's attached to. Hey, listen, you can pride yourself all you want. You're just wasting your time. Because one day you want to be rewarded of God. And people that will be exalted if they are humble servants that love the Lord. So listen, don't be tempted to brag upon yourself because you remain silent and your accomplishments will speak for themselves. Isn't that true? It's amazing. A chicken will cackle when it lays one egg. But a salmon lays 1,000 eggs, and he doesn't speak a word. I want to be that kind of a Christian. So let's give all the honor and glory of God. I pray that one day you're going to stand before the throne of God. You're going to be elevated. God is going to reward you because you are a faithful servant. Listen, anybody can be great in heaven if you're willing to serve.